Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy 2025. Good to see everybody. Big waves to you. All right, we're going to kick it off this morning. First, I want to remind you well, I got two things. One is Jerry Costell. Jerry, if Jerry's on, it is her birthday. We hope she has an amazing day today. And also, if you've got a word for your year, okay? You got a word for your year. So I want to tell you my word. I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to do that another day, but it's intentional. Intentional. And I'll tell you why. Um, we did some chat GPT. We did all kinds of things to come up with my word intentional and why that was. So it was quite the review to get to that word. So I'll that's for another day. But what is your word for the year? Here's what I want to tell you. Make sure let Andrea know because what we're going to do is we're going to take everybody's word and we're going to expand on it on the coach's corner and hopefully get you on from time to time, maybe to share why you chose that word. So, all right. Well, super happy that everybody's back with us. It was really a challenge to take off 2 weeks on the coach's corner. But I'll share with you why we did it this year. We've never done that. Um, but I'll share with you why, and it had to do with intentional. And it was we've been running the coach's corner since COVID, since 2020. Let's just say since the shutdown, and we did it just to be a few week thing, and it kind of developed and developed and developed. And if you think about being on point 5 days a week at the same time every morning, it's hard to get out of that routine. You play all these tricks in your head like, oh my goodness, I can't not do it. And this year I was like, no, we actually can. We actually can take time to reflect and think and spend time in preparing for the next run, right? And that's kind of what we've been doing. And so is preparing for the next movement of this year, of the coach's corner, of the next, you know, uh, phase of life. So we're going to kick off 2025 here by talking about commitment. Okay. And we have people that tune in on the coach's corner all over the world, literally Philippines, Uganda, all over the United States, Canada, different places, Puerto Rico. Here's what I'll share with you. Coming into the new year, I actually just had a call the other day, last night, that an audio that was like, um, somebody lost commitment. And have you ever had anybody on your team or in your life that like just can't seem to figure out the pasture to kind of graze in? And they're constantly jumping ship. They're jumping ship in their health. They're jumping ship to the next church because that church wasn't good enough, right? They're jumping ship to, you know, um, relationship to relationship to relationship. Like it's like there's not a perfect thing out there for this person. Now, don't mention their name. Hopefully, it's not you. But we come in contact with people like that, okay? And I think one of the things is realizing that in life, first of all, commitment's hard. It's hard. It's hard in spiritual journeys. It's hard in relationships. It's hard in business. And I'll tell you what, it's easier to do. It's easier. If you look at the definition, it's like pledge or bind a person or an organization um, to stay the course of the policy, like to just fight through. And I challenge you to think about this year. Like, what is it that you're want to thrive in? Like you're like, you know what? I really, and hopefully there's a couple of areas. But at the end of the day, it is going to be a fight. It is going to take work. You are going to get tired of it. You people are going to get on your nerves. The company's not going to show up like you want them to show up. Like there's all kinds of things that's going to go on, and that's called the devil stopping you from where you're headed, the commitment. And it's just a lot easier to take the ball and run to another court. I'm taking it and running, right? These people are not my people anymore. I'm running to it. Guess what? The only problem is we had to take ourselves where we go the next time. And then when we get tired of that again, it's like, okay, we got to take ourselves and go to the next place. And so I challenge us to go, I'm going to be committed. Like I'm going to make commitments. The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. Like where you're at right now, where your feet are planted, let's be committed. If it's our health goals, guess what? Take one day at a time. Quit looking at your body and going, it's not there yet. Guess what? It's a work in progress. It's okay. Play with the end in mind of where you want to go, but take it day by day by day. And understand there's going to be challenges. And I'm just going to say this. When you really set out, when we set out and go, you know what? What's the power of being committed to anything? It fuels perseverance and resilience. That's what it does. I see people, I've had it where I've decommitted, but I see people in my business all the time. I know when they're not as committed. Like I see them. I see them get less focused, less that they're playing all these games in their head that, and it's like, no, just stay the course, stay committed because it creates focus and direction. It fuels your perseverance and resilience. It creates motivation and drive. Like it builds trust, right? People are like, I don't know, that person's went through a lot of challenges, but I'll tell you what, they are freaking committed. That's who I want to go with. That's who I want to build with. That's who I want to grow with is the person that through the ups and downs. Because I promise you this, if you follow Tony Robbins, guess what? He goes through challenges. If you follow Eric, I can promise you Eric Worre goes through challenges. I don't care who you follow. Jim Rohn went through challenges. Everybody does. But one thing you can say about certain people like that is through the challenges, they stay focused on where they're growing and where they're going and where they're committed to, rather than just grabbing their ball and running to the next court every time the going gets tough. So, Andrea, I could go on and on and on about this word. It's a beautiful word that focuses us all for the start of the next year. So, I'll turn it to you. Let you finish this up.
Awesome. Well, great message this morning. And guys, my phone's blowing up. Keep the words coming because I tried to get everything in the chat, but I might have missed it and it'll be gone as soon as we're done. So please send me your words if you haven't already. Would love to get all of your words so that we can focus on them throughout 2025. So excited for that. But to go to the lesson today, so let me find my notes because I was too busy looking at everything. The quote that I found was, to commit is an act, not a word. And I think sometimes, have you ever committed to something and you just said the words, right? You're like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm totally committed, but you're just talking, right? You don't mean it, but you're not putting the action behind it. And so what I looked into was, okay, let's say that I do want to commit, right? I really want to do it this time. I want to create some change in myself in some way. Okay, how do I do it? And the first thing I've got to do is to take away choice. And I don't know, so I know we've got a lot of people that aren't part of our company and maybe they're not doing exactly what we're doing. But if you are, you know that we're doing a challenge right now. We've got a 28-day challenge for many of the different areas, I think North America. And we've got a challenge that starts today, and you got to take your picture and, maybe a scale picture if you're going for a kind of a weight loss goal, and you've got to do some different things. You've got some steps you got to take, and you got to commit, right? And one of the things that they told us the other day, they did a Zoom kind of building up to it, and Kristen White was talking about like prepping your pantry, right? Go through, get rid of all the things that you shouldn't have in there so that you only have to have self-control that one time, right? So take away that choice. I think about, once upon a time, I was known to have a cocktail or two. And then I kind of went through a phase where I was thinking about maybe I wasn't going to drink and I was considering it. And I would go somewhere and I'd think, well, let me decide today. Am I going to drink today or am I not going to drink today? What are my options for today? And I kept having to have self-control over and over and over again because I kept giving myself the choice. And I'll tell you, that's a harder way to do things. So if I've got Oreos in my pantry, I've got to go decide every time I walk by that I'm not going to have them. But if I take away that choice, that makes it so much easier to stick to whatever our goal is. Next, I've got to do things with my entire being. Going through the motions doesn't count. If you're going to do it with all of you. Show up fully, put your entire heart into it, or don't do it at all, right? If you're going to do it, go for it. Give it everything that you have. Next, we've got to remember the deeper why. So you guys hear about this all the time. Who knows the reason I want to get fit? I bet you guys all know it. There's two reasons, right? Kimberly, you know it. One, I want to be able to lift my luggage, right, Marlene? I saw it. I want to be able to lift that carry-on bag in any airplane around the world, no matter how much stuff I put in there, because as Michelle McKay knows, I don't know how to pack light. It's going to be a heavy bag, right? So that's reason one. And then two, I want to be able to crawl around and play on the ground with those imaginary grandbabies. They don't even exist yet, but I want it. I want that someday. And if I remember that why, doesn't it make it a little bit easier for me to get up and jump on the bike today or go for a walk or go try to lift something heavy because I know why I'm doing it. It's not just for that one little fleeting moment for me to mark it off the to-do list. It's because it's going to go into something that's important to me in the future. Next, I've got to ask myself if I'm not doing it, right? So like, I know I want to be healthy for those imaginary grandbabies, but I'm not going to the gym right now. I'm not moving my body. I'm not eating right. I've got to ask myself why. What is it that's holding me back? Like if I want to grow a business, but I'm not picking up the phone and talking to anybody ever, why? Like what is stopping me? Because if I don't analyze that, I'm not going to figure it out to get to the other side. So sometimes I've got to figure out what it is that's not allowing me to deepen my commitment. Next is as we're making commitments and as we're committing, we want to add them in slowly. I'll tell you, I want it all and I want it right now, right? I want $1 billion business. I want, what are they called? I almost said six-figure abs, but that's not what it is. Obviously, I don't know. What do they call six pack? There we go. I want six-pack abs. Let's
Did you
just say
just
I want it
did you
all.
call it a six-figure album? It could be a six-figure album. Okay, if you get them real good and chiseled, it could somebody might pay you six figures to see the albs. I don't know.
Or maybe it would cost me six figures to buy them. Can you buy abs? But anyway, we'll discuss that later. But whatever it is, if what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I want it and I want it right now. But I've got to realize that if I keep adding more in now, and I add more in, I'm not going to be able to keep the commitment to
We
everything, right? So I've got to add in those commitments slowly so that I make sure that every commitment I make, I can uphold, because that's the next part. If there's something that I can't do, if I committed to be in, I don't know, Gulfport, Mississippi every single Tuesday, I would love that. I'd get to go see you, Melissa. We'd have so much fun. But if I made that commitment for the entire year, and then I realized, oh, well, I'm not even in town for the first 6 weeks. Like that's going to be really hard to make that commitment. So I've got to back out of any commitment that I absolutely can't uphold. And so that in the end, when I say that I can do it, that people can count on me and they know that I will be committed and I'll get it done. So there we go, coach. That's what I had this morning.
no,
Hill says I can't buy abs, so I guess I won't.
yeah, the whole six-figure album thing kind of got me distracted. But here's the thing. I want to tell everybody, I see commitment across here. Cynthia Murray, I see her on driving with Buster, headed down the road, and she's created an amazing transformation. I've watched what Michelle McKay has done throughout the year, like just so much to be proud for of what she's brought to the table. I mean, I look and I can go across the room like Melissa Jackson. I mean, um, I, I look across there, and Marlene, what you do every morning. So I know we're running out of time, but I want to tell you this week. Um, there's a lot going on. Okay, if you're a part of our company, we have call. If you're a part of the Millionaire Matrix, if you're vice president or above, we've got a call going on Tuesday. There, um, we've got calls on Tuesday night with the owners, and Wednesday we launched this transformation challenge, what body balancing challenge that's going to go on through the week. There's so much to jump in and be committed through a community to kick your 2025 off right. And I challenge you to find a group that will serve you and you can serve them to kick off this January. Okay. So, guys, and if anybody's trying to get some six pack abs, go follow Freddie Malero and all of his Superman push ups and all of the stuff that he does. And there's a good, I'm trying to move down that road. I'm not there yet. So, guys, we love you. Have a great Monday out there. We'll see you back tomorrow. Glad to be back with you.
Love
Oh,
you
and
guys.
we
Appreciate
have,
you.
so
Thank you,
Cheryl
Brent. Andrew,
Bell,
good to see y'all.
it's her birthday too on Friday. So Cheryl, happy birthday. We love you. And
we'll sing to Cheryl tomorrow since we didn't know that. So
God
Cheryl
bless
Bell,
you.
come
Thank
back
you.
tomorrow. We'll sing to you. Love you guys.
Great
Sierra
to meet you
Brown,
you
guys.
guys have a
Happy
beautiful
you
birthday,
day.
lady, I see you
everybody.
smiling.
Bye.